Good morning to everyone, and welcome. Let us give thanks for the Lord's Day, Resurrection Day. Every Sunday is like a little Easter, a Resurrection Day that we should celebrate. This is an email from Sunday, August 18th, 2002 at 8:17 p.m. It's titled Work. Richard Foster wrote, I had come to Kosovo on the adventure of helping to build the first high school above the Arctic Circle. But the work itself was far from an adventure. It was hard, back-breaking labor. One day I was trying to dig a ditch for a new sewer line. No small task in a world of frozen tundra. An Eskimo man whose face and hands displayed the leathery toughness of many winters came by and watched me for a while. Finally, he said simply and profoundly, "You are digging a ditch to the glory of God." He said it to encourage me, I know, and I have never forgotten his words. Beyond my Eskimo friend, no human being ever knew or cared whether I dug that ditch well or poorly. In time, it was to be covered up and forgotten. But because of my friend's words, I dug with all my might. For every shovelful of dirt was a prayer to God. God has given each of us certain gifts and talents. He knows that using those gifts and talents to the fullest is the very thing that will bring us satisfaction and fulfillment. Are you using the gifts God has entrusted to you to the fullest? That is the road to true happiness. Even if we're working in a job that we absolutely love, it could also mean the road to burnout. And that happens even in jobs that we are happy in. So let's keep a check on our burnout and make sure we spend some spiritual time, some recreation for our souls and our bodies. Next, I'll have a reading from Matthew chapter 20. It's the parable of the workers in the vineyard. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. Going out about 9 o'clock, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace. He said to them, "You also go into my vineyard, and I will give you what is just." When he went out again around noon, and at 3 in the afternoon, he did the same. Then about 5 o'clock he went out and found others standing around. And he said to them, "Why have you been standing here idle all day?" They answered, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You too go into my vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Summon the workers and give them their pay, beginning with those who came last and ending with the first." When those who had started to labor at 5 o'clock came, each of them received a denarius. Therefore, those who had come first thought that they would receive more, but they were paid a denarius, the same as the others. And when they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner, saying, "These men who were hired last worked only 1 hour, and yet you have rewarded them on the same level with us who have borne the greatest portion of the work and the heat of the day." The owner replied to one of them, "Friend, I am not treating you unfairly. Did you not agree with me to work for a denarius? Take your pay and leave. I have chosen to pay the latecomers the same as I pay you. Am I not free to do as I wish with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous?" Thus the last will be first, and the first will be last. Doesn't this really show that Jesus had a really good understanding of human nature? That he knew us very well. In John chapter 2, verse 24, it makes clear that Jesus didn't need anyone to lecture him on human nature, for he knew it very well. And in this parable, he hit the nail on the head in describing how humans act and feel. I had a job once for 10 years, mostly as a supervisor. And it came to the point that when they were hiring new hires that worked under me, they were being paid more than me. I can understand how these people got upset in this parable. It's easy to understand. The one main difference between my predicament and the parable is it begins with the kingdom of heaven is like. So those that come to God at the end will get the same reward as those who have been faithful to Him their entire lives. And that is fair because God says that is fair, because He wants our soul to return to Him. So what this does is it gives us hope for those of us who have family members, sons or daughters, who may be living a life of dissipation. There's always hope that in the last few hours of a person's life on this earth, that they will turn to God with a humble and contrite heart. And in those last hours, the arms of God's mercy will open wide for them. So always have hope, my friends. Never give it up, and never give up prayer for those we love. May God bless each and every one of you this Sunday. May you find peace in your families. And may God grant that we meet again tomorrow.